Hello everybody and welcome back to Big Dan's channel. I am, of course, as always, Big Dan, and today I'm going to be reviewing Barbenheimer. So yes, I'm going to be reviewing both films in just this one review because I feel like they deserve it because of how, well known and prepared for this event's been, and it would feel wrong for us to do them separately. So first off, I'm going to review Barbie. So this one, obviously, I just went in this one sort of like for the laughs and, well, because I also wanted a philosophical experience. Yeah, it quite well delivered on that, funnily enough. Um, I will admit my only problem with it, like, I can see what they were trying to go for with sort of like the feminism type messages and everything within it, but it sort of overdid it a bit in places, and it would have basically they did it a bit too much. Like, I didn't mind it a little bit, but it was to practically like the levels of, well, She-Hulk, and, well, we know what the general consensus on that TV show was. Uh, and yeah, I think that goes out saying. But no, it was quite good. There was some of the cast members, like Michael Cera's in it. I quite enjoyed him being in it, even though he wasn't in too much, I'd say. There is a few cameos that caused by surprise. Some of the humour was actually quite funny. Like, it was genuinely quite a good film in that aspect. And it was, funnily enough, quite actually like philosophical and all that. Like, for example, at the end of it, it says like Barbie doesn't have sort of an ending, which I found quite nice because I thought it was just a good way to say, like, because obviously this brand has been around for what, since like the 60s or something, and it's still going strong to this day. So I found that quite a nice sort of theme in the end of it. And yeah, it was just quite a good film. Other than that, yeah, it was just really good. I don't know why they did this though, because apparently it's some kind of argument where they couldn't use it, but they did not use the song Barbie Girl, and it's like it's kind of like the fundamentals of, when you come to make this film, like, it's one of the first things you should think about doing, which, well, they did, but like they still went ahead and made it without even including that song. Well, actually, that's a lie. No, they did include that song, but it was a terrible remix version of it because, trust me, that thing was nothing like the original. And it was only in the credits as far as I remember, so yeah, it just wasn't good. But no, it was quite good. The opening and ending were really good as well, because the opening is just had just me going, "What the hell have I got us in for here?" And because I wasn't alone when I went to see this, I went to see it with two mates. And the ending was quite good as well, because, as I said, it was actually quite touching and all that. And I did enjoy this more than I thought I would. And what I like most about it is that I feel like it's not the kind of film where you can say, like, "Oh, that's a girl's film." Like, if I know, jokes aside, you know what I mean. Like, like, well, I'm a man, and like, I still quite enjoyed this film unironically. Like, it was actually quite decent. But yeah, and about the feminism messages thing as well. And please don't hate us for it. Like, I thought, like, I did think it worked well in bits. It's just that I thought they overdid it, and it did actually quite help the humor out a lot of times. So yeah, for that reason, my final verdict for the Barbie movie is a 9 out of 10. Yeah, I'm probably gonna get roasted for that one, but what can I say? Just it very much impressed us. It was quite an enjoyable one. And it's quite high on my list of films that I've watched at the cinema this year. So what can I say? Either this year's going terribly in film, or just the Barbie movie surprises a lot. Who knows? But yeah. So Barbie was quite good. So yeah, I hope that's one that's, well, I imagine it's on everyone's watch list. So there's more reason to go and watch it. And so now I'm going to get into the drag that was Oppenheimer. I mean, one flaw with Oppenheimer was that it was probably because it'd only been about 15 minutes after we finished the Barbie movie, because I've actually watched them both today when I'm filming this, is that it dragged on a bit, and naturally, because of the length of it, it wasn't too big a problem. But yeah, by the end of it, I was like, okay, I think I've had enough. Can we please, like, wrap it up a little bit, because I want to finish this already. But yeah, no offense to Nolan or anything, but it was just very long. But no, that is my only flaw with the film. What I liked most is Cillian Murphy and Robbie Downey Jr.'s performances, especially when I mentioned this. they're probably some of the best performances I've seen in their careers. Because obviously Murphy as Oppenheimer, he just brilliant for the role. So was Robert Downey Jr. What can I say? There was a few moments where I actually jumped out because I was so scared of them shouting, like, "Please don't hurt me, Mr. Murphy." Yeah, it was really good. It also analysed the background of Oppenheimer, sort of behind the scenes in his home life with his wife Kitty. Yeah, that was because their relationship in it. All I'm going to say is it's presented a bit negatively. Presented, sorry, I think I said prevented there. It's quite presented negatively and it feels really raw. So I liked just how well portrayed that was because, well, I can't comment on how realistic it was to life, but, well, that's just what I've got to say about it. The actual the bombings themselves are shown off screen. That heard in just through like a radio broadcast saying the bombs have been dropped. I thought that was quite good because I found it quite respectful to everyone who died in the bombings, of course, because they killed nearly a million, well, practically all civilians, a million Japanese people. So, it's not exactly something to, be light and joke around with. But no, it was quite decent. Like, I respect Nolan for being respectful for, as I said, because touchy subject, as nuclear weapons are still to this day, because, well, they didn't really end after the Cold War, did they? Yeah, it was quite good. The actual, when they test the bomb itself, it's in mostly silence, and it was actually quite engaging, that, so I appreciated it. It also presents him as quite a sort of tragic character who he had the job to do, but sort of he knew what that it wouldn't be one that he'd be proud of himself because he knew what would have to be done. And it does actually present him quite positively this way because, as I said, he wasn't exactly going out of his way to kill innocent Japanese people, was he? But yeah, it was brilliant. The way he was written and that, like, I did find myself quite aligning with him. The ending of it, the ending just feels so relevant to the modern day, because it is an open-ended film. That's not really a spoiler, don't worry. But it is a very open-ended film, and it was just so real. I don't know how else to put it. It feels so relevant to the modern day because it makes you think. So it's one of those that makes you think, and it had us discussing for quite a while afterwards when I went to Wetherspoons, because we're just like, wow, because it's not like this is sort of something that to discuss in the past, because, well, as I've said a few minutes ago in the review, and Nolan said himself, it is an incredibly relevant film to the modern day, and I think it is one of Nolan's best. It's on par, if not better than even The Dark Knight by him, for example. Yeah, it was just the ending would, because when it ended, it had everyone clapping, including me, this is actually the first time I've ever clapped at a film in a cinema. I realise what I just said there. But like this clapping, but yeah, it deserved it. It deserved that kind of recognition from me. Yeah, it was so hard to watch in places as well. It's a grim film, and I would have rather ended on Barbie just to have something, light-hearted and everything. But, well, it was the only screening I could get, really. Is Barbie first and Oppenheimer second. So, but yeah, it was just genuinely really good. Also, there's a leitmotif, you can hear it in the trailers where it's the sort of like that, not that, but where it speeds up repeatedly and it sounds like a bomb going off. There's a leitmotif of that, and that I found it's quite memorable, and I thought that was quite well used as well because it was deafening listening to it in the cinema screen. Um, but yeah, it was just he was. I don't know what to say about this film. It is, regardless of your standing on up and on Barbenheimer, um, it is just a brilliant film. Um, I cannot describe it. Words can't do this film justice. So yeah, um, yeah, I wasn't ready to go into this today. I thought I was going to give it maybe a decent mark, like a 7 or 8, maybe. Um, and it has impressed us a lot. I'm still like just processing it as I'm saying this. Yeah, it was just it was one of the best films I've seen this year. So sorry, but my final verdict for Oppenheimer has to be a 10. That might seem generous or something like that to those of you who've seen it and disagree with us, which is fine. But what can I say? I just think it deserves a 10. Like, yes, it was long, very long, and I was like tapping out for like please end like by the end of it. But yeah, it was just I loved it. It it's it's brilliant. I don't know how else to put it. Like, just please watch it because I can't I just cannot discuss it. It's just you'll know what I mean when you watch it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it for both films. Um, I apologise to the Barbie fans. But yeah, Oppenheimer, as I said, it was one of the best films this year. Um, it, I kind of describe this thing. You just need to watch it to understand what I'm saying. Oppenheimer really deserved it. Yeah, just thank you for watching me review. Please watch both films. I know I said Oppenheimer, in my opinion, is the better one. Please don't kill me, Barbie fans. But yeah, please watch both films. Still, they are both brilliant. And thank you for watching. And I'm out, guys. Peace.